Good morning. It's an incredible honor to be standing here today, and honestly, it's a little surreal because when I stepped on YSU's campus, my goal was not the Hall of Fame. My goal was to survive. I was a little excited and nervous, kind of like today, but we made it. I want to say congratulations to my fellow inductees. It's an honor to share this moment with all of you. Thank you to the athletic department, the Hall of Fame committee, the Penguin Club, Penguin alumni, staff, and everyone who continues to support the athletics. What you build here lasts long after 4 years. When I came on my recruiting visit, I was greeted by Coach Gorby and Coach Kobe outside of DeBartolo Stadium. My mom and the coaches exchanged pleasantries as I got out of the car. Coach mentioned that the campus tour started in 10 minutes. My mom looked at him and said, "Oh, me? No, thank you. I'm going to go to find some quilt shops and some sewing shops around Youngstown and Austintown. Danielle's who you have to win over." They laughed. My mom put the car in reverse and said, "I'll see you tomorrow." I didn't get to see her till the next day, and it's safe to say YSU was what I was looking for. Being at YSU didn't give me motivation, it gave me discipline. Motivation shows up when you feel good. Discipline shows up when you don't. My throws coach, Sean Kobe, made sure we understood that early on. Discipline meant cold mornings, late nights, sore and frustrating days, and still showing up the same way. I wasn't the most naturally gifted athlete in the room, but I was the most stubborn. My college career wasn't glamorous, it was repetition and fixing the same mistake over and over and over again until something finally clicked and the throws went farther and farther. There were times that coach sent me back to do drills, and I came back hours later asking if it was enough, only to realize he had forgotten me. At that time, it felt unfair. Looking back, that was the lesson. Eventually, nobody stands over you anymore. You learn to stand up for yourself and over yourself. Coach Kobe and the staff, teammates, thank you for expecting more out of me than I expected from myself. At 18, I wanted results, and you showed me how to do them. To my family, thank you for being my constant support through every phase, the patience and perspective you gave me through this journey. This honor belongs to you also. YSU taught me more than how to compete. It taught me how to keep going, and that has mattered more than any mark I ever threw. Thank you again for this honor, and go Penguins.
President Johnson, Board of Trustee members, I can't thank you enough for electing me to this prestigious position. The best part of my job was the 36 years that I spent here at Youngstown State. A couple of anecdotes. The first game that I covered was in the end of September, first part of October of 1989. My wife, Shelley, and I, we drove to Mount Pleasant, Michigan, home of Central Michigan Chippewas. It was their homecoming or senior day, whatever. They dressed 100 guys. They came out on the field in their maroon and gold. They looked like a Big Ten team. I thought, I am going to be working for the next 3 hours. We kicked their ass. I don't know if you remember this game, Dave. Ray Isaac went nuts. I think we were up like 24-0 at halftime. We ended up winning 30-3. We just kicked the crap out of them. Basketball has been up and down, as we all know. One of the best seasons in basketball was when Dan Peters was the head coach. When Dan Peters was named the head coach, he and I were on a local TV sports medicine show. It was downtown. I believe it was Channel 27. Since then, he and I have become very good friends before his demise. Anyway, the year that he won 20 games, we had Valpo at home. There were 6,500 people in the stands. I think this went out. But anyway, that was a really, really big night that I remember. National championships. My former partner, J.J. Stefanson, who's here, was a 4-year letterman for Jim's Trestle squad. Anyway, when we played McNeese State down in Chattanooga, we won 10-9. They had a all-purpose punt returner, kick returner, corner, safety, slot receiver, wideout by the name of Don Ashley. JJ was instructed to kick the ball away from him all day, which of course he did, until they held us late in the game and he had a boom one out. JJ kicked a 60-yarder. We covered it. We had them pinned back. We ended up winning 10-9. I think it was for our second national championship. It's amazing how you remember all this stuff. I can't tell you all the wonderful people that I've worked with. Guys like Trestle, Haycock, Wolford, Pellini, Phillips, Dan Wathen, John Donenko, and Ken Knatzer. I met Ken Knatzer, I think, before I met Coach Trestle, and to this day, he and I are very close. The bonds that I made here through this job have been great. A special thank you to Dan Wathen and John Donenko, because I know back in 1989, you guys went to bat for a couple of young orthopods for this job. Thank you for my induction.
Good morning, everybody. I want to first thank the Hall of Fame committee as well as the entire athletics department for this induction. It is truly humbling for me. And as I stand here today, I picture not just me up here, but every coach, teammate, and mentor that I've had along the way. And the truth is, there won't be enough room up here to fit all the people that have had a hand in my development. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. From a young age, I knew I wanted to play baseball for as long as God would allow me. I felt like any ability I had to play was a gift from him. Now, my grandpa was left-handed. That somehow didn't pass to my dad or to myself, and my mom swears all athletic ability miraculously skipped her. So, however it happened, I was given the ability to throw a ball. And I felt like it was my responsibility to steward that gift as best I could. Not perfectly, but faithfully. 6th grade English class, we had to write poems about our future. And I wrote one, I titled mine, "I Can't Wait Till I'm in the Major Leagues." I could see it all so clearly, the smell of the grass, the feel of the sunshine, the roar of the crowd, the moment. And I still have the poem to this day. And back then, I dreamed about just getting there. And what I didn't understand was the real gift wasn't where baseball would take me, but who would surround me with along the way. When I first arrived on campus here, my expectations were pretty simple. Work hard, earn the respect of my teammates, and handle my business in the classroom. My first and last game at YSU encompassed my time here beautifully. As a freshman in 2008, we loaded up the bus, headed down to Georgia Tech for our opening series. I was excited, man. I was fired up. We got to play some baseball, get out of the snow. Finally got down there. I got in the first game. I gave up 5 runs in 1 2/3 innings. So that excitement quickly turned into a wake-up call. Fast forward to my last game in 2011, pitching a league tournament down in Dayton against UW-Milwaukee. Got the win after throwing 140 pitches. And before anybody gets too impressed, I only went 8 innings. Couldn't even finish the game. So efficiency was still a work in progress. But those 2 games tell a story of my time here. Not perfection, but growth. And when I look back, I don't think about the numbers, the records. I think about the people. One of the biggest influences in my life has always been my family. My mom and dad carting my brother and I around to different games and tournaments and practices. And they never cared about how we played or what the result was. But what mattered was our effort, our attitude, and who we were becoming. I want to thank my dad for spending time coaching us and practicing with us outside. And he always said something that stuck with me. He'd simply say, contribute to the team. Do something, anything to help the team succeed. I want to thank my mom for being a grounding force and pushing me to finish my degree. especially when the thought of playing professionally looked like it was going to become a reality. I want to thank my wife, Lindley, for her love and support, patience that she's given me, especially on the days where I brought baseball home with me mentally. Our son and daughter stayed back in Dallas this weekend, which probably explains a lot of the calm energy in the room here today. We love you both. I want to give a special thank you to my teammates. They shaped me more than they probably realize. Early morning workouts, long bus trips, the locker rooms, they create an environment that pushed me, challenged me, held me accountable. And I became a better man because of the people I shared that locker room with. Today I'm fortunate to coach a lot of young men. And I try to pass along the same values that were given to me: humility, consistency, and perseverance. And I'll close with something I tell every young man I coach. At some point, they stop giving you a jersey. And when that happens, what's left isn't your stats, your wins, what level you played at. It's your character. It's your faith. It's how you treated people along the way. That's what matters. And that's what lasts. That sixth grade poem I wrote turned out to be far more accurate than I ever imagined. But what really mattered wasn't reaching that goal, it was having something steady to hold on to when times got tough, when things got hard. And I'm far more thankful for the journey than I am the destination. Baseball gave me a jersey for a season, but the lessons it taught me have lasted a lifetime. I want to thank you guys for this incredible honor, and God bless.
Good morning. You might ask why someone would choose running as a career or an athletic career. Let me try to explain a little bit. My dad and mom, who are both here, he ran professionally for Nike and Adidas, and then coached Maplewood High School to 4 team state championships, the last of which was in 2005, and coincidentally, my high school career started in 2006. My mom threw discus in high school and placed 3rd at the state meet, then made the seamless transition to qualifying to the Olympic trials in the marathon, of all things. My brother was part of 2 state championship teams in high school. I entered 7th grade wanting to continue the success of my family's running, but as a chubby, unremarkable kid and bad at running, it didn't look quite possible. But after going through puberty, I did find some success in high school, enough success for some coaches to reach out. I eventually committed to my dream school, the University of the Cumberlands in southeast Kentucky. But unlike today's athlete in the transfer portal, I decided I wanted to try honoring my commitment, and after a full 9 days, I met with the coach and told him I was going home. And the next morning, drove home. The persistent nature of Coach Gorby that fall allowed me to be admitted as the last student to the class of 2010, a week after the classes had already started. That first year at YSU, we had 0 training facilities as the Watts was under construction where they tore out the old track, and we obviously did not have the Coach Gorby or the Gorby family cross-country course. We practiced at Boardman's high school cross-country course in the fall. We drove up to Kent State in the winter to their indoor facility and went over to Liberty High School's 6-lane track for outdoor track practice. I had the intention of attending YSU for a semester and then transferring. Our team was really bad, and I wanted to win. My senior teammates, twins, Jake and Rick Lape, had to be restrained for almost starting fistfights at multiple cross-country meets for teams insulting us for getting last place or near last place. Though their passion embedded in me a deep-found loyalty to Youngstown, and I soon bought in and told Coach Gorby that I was committed for the long haul, or at least longer than 9 days. I used this embarrassment of getting last and insulted as motivation to build a winning team. By my junior year, we were able to patch together a committed, hardworking group of local guys. The summer going into that cross-country season, I'd strung together a stretch of running 100-plus miles a week over a couple months and found myself to be in pretty good shape. The team joked that going into our first meet, the Tommy Evans Invitational, they joked that I could win it individually, which I thought was absurd because just 3 years earlier, the Lape brothers tried starting a melee with the Kent State team for making fun of us for getting last place. At that time, though, I'd been playing around with creating a hand signal that I tried convincing the team that we should adopt as our insignia. It was sort of similar to the hook'em horn, but instead a Y. My teammate, John Hutton, dared me to throw up this insignia, we deemed as the Ys, if I were to win the race. I agreed to the dare as I put my chances at winning approximately at 0. In my typical race style, I went out really slow, and then I came around the final turn to find myself in first place, and then remembered the dare that John had presented to me, throw up the Ys. I crossed the finish line in first place, raising my hands, throwing up the Ys for the first time ever. We went on to finish second at the Horizon League Championships in cross country that fall, and ended Milwaukee's 10-year streak of track championships that spring, clinching our program's first title since 2003. That track title in the spring of 2014 would be the only title that I'd be a part of as an athlete at YSU. In the 10 years since graduating, the YSU men's program has won an astounding 10 indoor championships, 9 outdoor championships, and 6 championships in cross country. Finding success in running and at YSU was hard, but it's because of its difficult nature that made it a worthwhile pursuit. At some point every day, we will experience the hardest part of our day. Running has allowed me to have control over the hardest part of my day. Finding something to do willingly that is hard makes the rest of what you do easier. Having voluntary struggle instilled in me greater character, increased my capacity for resilience. I stand here grateful for my family for the inspiration to run, to my teammates for the memories and friendship, and indebted to Coach Gorby for providing the opportunity to run. To each, I say thank you. And to YSU, I express my humble gratitude and be selected as a member of the YSU Athletics Hall of Fame. Go Gwins.
Good morning. What an incredible honor it is to be standing here today. When I began writing this speech, I struggled to find the words that could fully capture the gratitude I feel for Youngstown State University. Gratitude for the people, the experiences, and the way this place shaped me into who I am today. When I think about my 5 years at YSU, I don't first think about wins or stats. I think about the people, the community, my coaches, my teammates, and the athletic staff. From the moment I stepped on campus, I knew YSU was special because of the people who made it what it is. When I talk about the people, I can't not talk about the Beagley Center. There's nothing quite like stepping on that court. The pep bands playing, the crowd, the fans cheering and dancing, the energy in the building, it's not just a gym, it's home. It's the best home court advantage in the Horizon League. As an 18-year-old small-town farm girl from Wapakoneta, Ohio, moving to Youngstown with teammates from Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Toledo, Chicago, Sweden, and even Serbia, it was eye-opening, to put it lightly. To say I didn't grow would be an understatement. I came to YSU the year after the program went 0-30, and I arrived with this mindset that I was going to change the program. Little did I know the program would end up changing me. After my very first individual workout with Coach Bob Bolden, I remember walking back to Leiden House, calling my parents and crying, insisting that I quit. They didn't let me, and I'm incredibly grateful they didn't. Early on, I had doubts every single day. Doubts that I belonged here, doubts that I was good enough, and doubts that I could actually help turn this program around. Add in injuries, a broken nose and foot, knee issues, and countless tweaks along the way, there were plenty of moments when it would have been easier to walk away. I have to thank Jeff Wills for the many days spent in the training room and for the constant encouragement and lessons along the way. The transformational moment that stands out for me the most happened during my third year. After a tough loss at Valparaiso, where we played honestly awful, we came back and had an extremely hard Sunday night practice. 3 hours on the court, followed by another hour running in the Watts training facility. In that moment, it was brutal. But looking back, what I remember most isn't the conditioning, it's how we stayed together. No one pointed fingers, no one quit, we pushed each other, we held each other accountable, and we finished it as a team. That season resulted in a postseason appearance and a WNIT win here at home in the Beagley Center. I'm incredibly grateful for all my teammates throughout my journey here. That night taught me what it truly means to be a great teammate and a leader. Leadership isn't about being loud or scoring points, it's about showing up, especially when it's hard. That practice helped build the foundation for who I became during my final years here. It taught me mental toughness, and it showed me that real growth doesn't happen when things are comfortable. It happens when you choose not to quit. I wouldn't be standing here today without my family. There were no games that I played in where I looked up in the stands and didn't see them, not one. Home or away, they were always there. They were the ones that didn't let me quit, who believed in me when I doubted myself, my biggest supporters through injury and adversity, and who showed up every single time. YSU gave us some of our favorite family memories. To this day, we still sit around the dinner table, laughing about jokes told on their long car rides, card games in the hotel rooms, seeing new places and new universities, and even Pete the Penguin throwing his arms up for every 3 we made. My kids are holding up Pete the Penguin. And today, having so many of you here for me for this induction means more than words can say. Thank you for showing up for me then, and thank you for showing up for me now. To my family, thank you. Your unwavering support is the reason I was able to push through the hard seasons and grow into the player I became. I also want to sincerely thank the coaches who played a role in my journey at YSU. To Coach Cindy Martin's staff, especially Coach Bernard Scott, who believed in me enough to recruit me, and to Coach Bob Bolden, Coach John Barnes, and their coaching staffs who coached, challenged, and developed me throughout my career. Thank you. Each of you played a role in shaping not just the player I became, but the person I became. The lessons you taught me didn't end when my playing career did. A great example of this is the support and mentorship I've continued to receive over the years from assistant coach John Nicolay. From a grueling first year battling injury and having to sit out, to winning at Green Bay my 4th year, to finishing with not 1 but 2 20-win seasons, this journey stretched me in ways I never expected. In my final 2 years, I stepped into leadership as a captain, was trusted with a bigger role, and grew into the player and teammate this program needed me to be. Those years were rewarding, not just because of what happened on the court, but because of who I had become. When I left YSU, I was no longer a timid small-town girl. I left with a confidence that carried me into playing professionally in Germany, coaching at both the high school and college levels, teaching middle school science, and eventually starting my own business. YSU instilled in me the habits required to live life at a high standard. It taught me discipline, it taught me mental toughness, and it taught me gratitude, even in adversity. I carry those lessons with me today as a wife, a mom, a coach, and a business owner. I want to thank my husband, Eric. His support during my final 2 seasons when I truly grew into my role means more to me than he knows. He knew every box score, and he remains my biggest fan today. And to my kids, Henrik and Gretchen, you are my greatest joy and my constant reminder of why the lessons I learned here mean so much. I'm currently an assistant coach at the University of Findlay, and 7 months ago, I started my business, Mentally Built Athletes. As a certified mental performance coach, I can proudly say I've now coached over 300 athletes on the mental performance side of the game. The same things I struggled with as an athlete, the pressure, injury, adversity, performance, anxiety, self-doubt, and confidence, are now the very things I help athletes work through today. Mentally Built Athletes exist because of my journey here at YSU. I want to thank current head coach Melissa Jackson for welcoming me back and allowing me to work with the team on the mental side of the game. Being able to pour back into this program is incredibly meaningful to me and speaks volumes about the culture and direction YSU women's basketball is under Coach Jackson's leadership. I also want to thank the donors who supported our program day in and day out, often behind the scenes. Your generosity, the meals, the resources, and the constant support continue to make young women's dreams of playing Division I basketball at YSU possible, so thank you. There's a tremendous sense of pride in Youngstown. The grit, the loyalty, and the way this community shows up for its own. I'm incredibly proud to have been shaped here and to call myself a part of the Mahoning Valley. Whenever I see YSU across someone's chest on a sweatshirt or t-shirt anywhere in the world, a loud Gwens is always shouted. The smiles and stories that follow are filled with pride from proud alumni of Youngstown State University. If there's one thing I hope this honor represents, it's that the impact of this program didn't stop when the final buzzer sounded. My time here will stay with me for the rest of my life. It's where I grew, where I was challenged, and where I became who I am today. I am, and I always will be, proud to say I'm a YSU Penguin. Thank you.